So it seems to me that the folks who have the biggest challenge with this cultural shift are black men in my age group, 35 to 45. They seem the most challenged by this idea of black women doing what white women have done for a very long time, which is date around in their 20s. And they have no problem then being married and having children and being successful. But in our own community, we seem to believe that pick one, be with that one, and that's it. And that's not what's happening. And younger folks are seeing that shift and making that shift, and they're demonstrating it in how they walk and how they work. For example, there's a new song out called Saweetie, right? And in the song, she talks about how she has her own money and she doesn't need a man, right? And I don't think that it's necessarily that we don't need you, right? But I think what we need you for and what we're looking for may be shifting, and you have to be ready for that. A perfect example of that is our good friend Super Sense, who recently did a video, and we know a lot about her love life. She's had some pretty public breakups. But one thing she learned and that she shared with us, and I admire her so much, is that she said, there are so many of us who are bosses now. And as bosses, we're going to date people who either boss up or already bosses. And it doesn't mean we're greedy. It doesn't mean we don't value ourselves. It doesn't mean we're whores. What it means is just like men who are bosses, who want a certain caliber of woman, women who are bosses want the same. And the idea that we should settle because you have decided that because we had babies before you, etc., is insane. Because men have babies and women marry them and accept their children. And we see every day, not just Sierra, not just Lori Harvey, we see folks in our neighborhoods every day, men every day, who marry women who have children and have successful lives. And if we really want to do the thing that's called black love, then that's what we have to be willing to understand, learn, and grow. So in the end, listen, y'all, cultural shifts are uncomfortable. We're not going backwards, we're going forward. And it looks messy. And it's going to be messy. But what we also have to recognize is that as women change and grow, men are having the opportunity to expand their understanding of their emotional bandwidth, expand the understanding of their own trauma and things that might affect them, and recognize the benefit of being with women who have their own agency, who think for themselves, who have their own worth, who have their own money. What a better way to build worth than with someone who has worth? Financial worth already, who's already a boss. But it requires us to have different conversations about what relationships look like between the two of us. And again, to my fellas like Boosie and T.I., we're not going backwards. We're not going back to some 50s ideal of what the horror Madonna complex looks like. We're not going to keep being these women who date men who sleep around and do whatever they want and come home and feel like, because you bought me a Bentley, you can do what you want. A lot of us can buy our own Bentley. So I hope you all hear this and both women and men do some reflection, because the reality is we're better together than apart, and we need to really listen to each other.